91.8 Hayes FM.
Welcome to Waishee Radio on 91.8 Hayes FM, your local radio and worldwide podcast that's interactive through Facebook Lives and special guests. Join Nicola Chan each week as she helps you with your body image, mindset, fitness and health to feel confident and find your true potential.
Hello, welcome back to 91.8 Hayes FM, the Waishee Radio Show. I'm Nicola Chan, and in the hot seat is Neusa Catoja.
Hey.
So Neusa's brand is Free to Embrace Me. She has a new book out called The Soul of a Woman, The Journey to Self-Love, and she's sharing with us her journey. So if you've just joined us, welcome. We are on Hayes FM Facebook page. We're live. You can see the video. You can interact with us, ask Neusa your questions. And I'd like to go back as we were, discussing Neusa's journey and how she started. Look, give us some of the negative, if you don't mind. Like, how bad was it? And then what happened for you to be able to change your life, which is obviously what you facilitate for women now.
How bad was it? If I'm raw and real, I was at a point of suicide. I remember I was, and it's in the book as well, where I was at the edge of a bridge on the A13 next to my house. Not at the edge, but I was overlooking the cars and I was looking down. That's how bad it got. And it got to a point that every morning I'd wake up and I'd get excited. It's really, sounds bad, but I get excited because I'd be like, right, this is it. That's it. I'm going to finish. I'm going to end it. That's it. Because I felt that was going to be my ending and my solution to my suffering. But I couldn't go ahead with it. So it got that deep and it got that dark for 4.5 years. So how did I come out of it?
What was the reason for that? Was this still the body image eating disorder or something else?
It was the feeling of feeling like crap all the time, feeling like a failure. It was more failure.
Not feeling good enough.
Not feeling good enough. Like, I was a personal trainer. I was earning good money. I was living the dream, as we called it. You know, I was training people. And then my world just fell upside down. And I've always been independent. I couldn't even go to work. I was on benefits. I couldn't move. I tried to work, and when I went to work back in the office, I felt like a failure because I'm like, this isn't what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to be a fitness professional, but I had no energy to be a fitness professional. I tried to go back.
So you were
to the
physically
gym.
burnt out as well as mentally.
I was probably sleeping 1 hour a night, if that. Imagine not sleeping for 4.5 years.
That's
You'd go
terrible.
crazy.
That will make anybody feel depressed, I think.
I couldn't think. That's how bad it was. Sometimes I couldn't hold conversations with people because they felt forced. You know, when you're having a conversation with someone and you're out of breath because you're forcing to act normal. That's how it was. I couldn't put words together. It was like, I can't express myself like I used to. So it got to the point where I woke up like a zombie every single morning and I just wanted that feeling to go. So, and I couldn't find any solutions. I did try a pill for like a month. When I came off the pill, it was like I was getting like complete brain zaps, and I was like, if it's doing that to my brain, but I'm still not sleeping, I'd rather go without the pill. And then my obsession wasn't just food. My obsession was searching on the internet for hours. I could search for maybe 6 hours and sit there, because when I was sitting there researching, I was safe and I was away from the kitchen, away from binging. But I was on the phone trying to find a solution through a diet. So I'll be looking.
A solution to the problem being your body.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So the problem was my body. I thought the solution was a diet. I thought that if I researched, by the end of this research, I would come off. And then the research was keeping me safe from binging.
I think so many people will relate to this.
It was like crazy.
I did that as well, like literally try and do anything, even just take all the classes as well in the evening, because the evening would be the time that I'd binge, and I knew I wouldn't do it if I was going to go and teach. Or to the point of, I'm going to paint my nails will be wet for X amount of time, therefore I won't be eating.
Oh my God,
like, just literally all the tiny little things.
Yeah.
I'm sure people listening could probably relate to that, because I also believe that that's not even necessarily an eating disorder, but diet mentality, because it makes you feel like that, and you have to override your body's feelings of hunger.
Yeah.
You're literally sitting on your hands trying not to eat.
Yeah.
Because sometimes now I question myself. Obviously, a lot of those things are old behaviours. Sometimes they still pop up in the mind. And I say to myself, am I sitting on my hands trying not to eat? If I am, then I'm probably just hungry. So therefore, go and eat. It's okay to eat. Even if I ate an hour ago and society would say I should have 3 to 4 hours between meals, or I've had a certain portion, all of these rules and messages that we get from outside, you have to look inside and think, actually, if I'm in tune with my body, Maybe I didn't sleep so much. Maybe I am feeling a bit hungry, more hungry than normal. Maybe I did a lot of exercise and I need to recover from that. Whatever it is, eat if you feel like you're sitting in your hands to eat.
Yeah. I mean, when I finally realized what the issue was, the answer was I was just hungry. I was hungry and I needed to sleep. And because I wasn't eating right, I couldn't sleep. And because I was trying to find the solution on the internet, my mind was, it was like my brain was a computer that was filled up with a virus, and I kept uploading loads of viruses because I was so confused as to what the perfect diet would be that I didn't know which one I would do. And then if I would have a day where I've ate really, really well, I'd feel so good, and then something would trigger me, and then I'd binge eat, and then I feel like a failure again. I'll be like, okay, right, tomorrow I'm going to start another diet. It was always like tomorrow. And
Which is why, like, Mondays, New Year's, birthdays, Christmas.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, after this, I'm going to eat properly. I'm going to eat clean, as they call it. What the hell is that? I didn't know we ate dirty. Did we eat dirty? Is there a difference? So I was just like, I was so obsessed, and that's why I couldn't sleep, because my mind needed to rest from trying to find a solution outside of myself. And when I did that, and I started focusing, you know, I'm NLP qualified, I started focusing on my thoughts. And that's why I mentioned in my book, I transformed my body I transformed my way of thinking and how I felt within 21 days, because I started to change what I was saying to myself.
I like how you just like stumbled on those words then about my body, because that literally is it, isn't it? Like initially you think, well, I hate my body, I'll change my body, but you don't change what's within. It doesn't matter what body you're in.
No.
Because you could have other people as well and say, oh, you're not fat, you're like, they accept you in society, you're not a bigger person, like you fit in chairs, you can go on the train. None of these things are an issue. You have thin privilege, if you like, but ultimately you still, in your head, inside your body, are not happy, and you can feel like that no matter what size you are.
So it was like, I'm trying to find a solution, and I'm over bombarding myself. I just needed to live a really simple life and have fun like a child. Like a child doesn't sit there thinking, okay, what am I going to eat today? And that would be my first thoughts in the morning. As soon as I wake up, what am I going to eat? But I'd stay in bed a lot longer just so I wouldn't go downstairs to eat, because I was afraid that the minute I'd start eating, I wouldn't be able to stop. Or I was afraid that when I wake up now, I'm going to go on the internet searching for hours. I was making myself feel worse and worse and worse. But the beginning of this book does say, somebody plants a seed in your brain and then you start believing it. I didn't know I was depressed until I saw a doctor. And at this time I was still a fitness professional. I was still teaching classes, but I just couldn't figure out what was going on. Like I had butterflies in my stomach, and I've never had depression before. So for me it was like, when I went to the doctors, and the doctor said within this 6-minute conversation, and I'm telling him, doctor, I'm not sleeping, I feel uneasy. That's all I said. I didn't say the word. He said the word. He goes, okay, here's a pill, take it, and then come back to see me. I was like, what's a pill for? Depression. I was like, huh? And that's it. Once he planted that in my brain, I behaved like a depressed person. I was saying that constantly in my brain. I don't feel myself. I'm depressed. I'm tired. I'm anxious. I became those very words constantly. So how I changed my way of my life within 21 days, it is that, because after this, it's a continuous journey, isn't it? You don't stop continuously working on yourself. Within the 21 days, I had to focus on saying the opposite to what I was feeling, because I kept on emphasizing I was sick. I didn't want to have conversations with myself. If people called me, I know I was boring them because I was saying the same things over and over again. So I started to change my language. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd say, today's going to be an amazing day. I know some people might be thinking, oh yeah, whatever, but it works. But you have to do it consistently. You know, today's going to be a good day. Today I'm going to get out of bed. I'm going to do this, and today I'm going to feel energized. I'm going to go and take a walk.
Because ultimately, if you don't try to say these positive things, the negative things naturally happen, don't they? For some reason, the negative is so powerful. You get it from your upbringing, those beliefs that you take from other people. Like you said, you took on a belief from a doctor, I'm depressed now, so that becomes your thing.
Yeah, it became my, as you call it, self-fulfilling
Les
prophecy.
Brown says that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You shouldn't, what was it? Don't ever let someone's opinion of you become your reality.
Exactly.
I can hear his voice.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying.
Les Brown.
And I allowed that. But the thing is as well, as I've written in my book, loads of like revelations came to me, and one thing that came to me was that we don't like bullies. If somebody tries to put you down, what do we first do? We defend ourselves, or we will stop talking to them, or we never want to hear them again, and we don't want to be around that person. But then when we're criticizing our own bodies, we're becoming a bully that we don't like. Why is it okay for us to bully ourselves, but it's not okay for someone else?
I could say on that point, though, perhaps you could feel like that if you were bullied as a child, you become the victim of bullying, that it's more natural for you as an adult to bully yourself, because you can feel unworthy, and then you didn't have anything to come back from that. You didn't, like, heal from it. So the things you don't heal from as children, you'll
come back.
you're behaving and acting as adults.
Right, and I had never had a bad childhood. I was never bullied. I was never, my mum, I had a good family. I had a good upbringing. I don't remember my childhood much. That's the only thing. The only thing I remember is having a lot of responsibility as a child. Maybe that was that. For me, I didn't have that history of something bad. And I was 33 years old when it happened to me. And I was a personal trainer when it happened to me. I should feel amazing. I should look amazing. But it happened, and it never happened to me before. So it can happen to anyone at any given time. And then I realized as well, like, I'd go to the gym to train hard, and I'd have men going to me, "Oh, why you want to lose your feminine curves for? Why are you training so hard?" And I'd say to them, I'd say my words. I'm not going to repeat them, but then it is actually affecting me in some way or another. But I didn't realize until, and then I started
the judgments from others at the gym.
Yeah, and then I started saying to myself, actually, at one point I was proud of my arms. Now I don't like how muscly I'm looking. That was another negative thing.
I hear that.
I'm getting too muscly. I don't like this, because before you become,
it's other people's opinions. Yeah, I get that now. Like, somebody might say you've got like a girl might be like, "You've got muscly arms. I don't want muscles. So can you train me and train me not to get those muscles?" Or other girls will be like, my client said this recently, "That's the why I came to you, for your muscly arm."
Yeah, and it can affect you in different ways. So for me, I had that. I had women saying to me, "Oh my God, I like your arms." And then I had some like, "You, can you train me, but don't make me look like you?" And you're like, okay. Or you'd have guys going to you, "Oh yeah, you've got
everyone's got an
body,
opinion.
You've got lovely legs and but your arms are bigger than mine." And you're like, is it?
That's his problem with himself,
right,
not you.
Now I know this.
Yeah.
But back then, when your mind is so sensitive, whatever people say, you will absorb. Just like a child is very sensitive. You're learning. When we're very vulnerable, we're learning from whatever people say. We're absorbing. So if you're not in a good headspace, you're absorbing everything that people are saying to you, and then you kind of believe it.
So for people listening now, what are the telltale signs that they may be in a vulnerable situation and taking on those things from other people?
I don't know about signs. I would say when you're constantly, again, going to the gym all the time. You're constantly going to the gym all the time. Before you go to the gym, you're putting on makeup. I don't put makeup before I go to the gym now. I literally just go fresh, like no makeup or anything. It's you're constantly having to put on an appearance before you go to the gym. You're training, you're in the gym every single day. Then you're focusing, and when you're around people, it's always like, "Oh yeah, I can't eat that and I can eat this." Or you go to a restaurant, you're forever, if you've got a family member who's forever looking at a menu, which is what I used to do, like a whole hour to try and find something, and everything is like, "Oh, I can't eat that. Oh, I can't eat that." Or,
so if you feel like your life's surrounded by rules, that could be one thing then.
Right.
Because that's how I felt as well, like just break the rules. I said this to Zoe, you mentioned our interview we had a couple of weeks ago, and I said to her, "What if I want a roast dinner for breakfast?" Then I can have that, because who says I can't? What's the rule that says you must eat breakfast at breakfast?
Yeah, you can eat food at any time. Like without thinking, I might do like what they call intermittent fasting, because now I don't focus on waking up, having my breakfast. Every 3 to 4 hours I gotta eat something. I eat when I'm hungry. So I've kind of got my body used to having my coffee in the morning, and maybe not eating till about 11 or 12, because I've got so many exciting things to do, and eating isn't one of them. It's not a thing that I think about. But now when I want to eat, it's like, what do I fancy right now? Like on Friday, me and my daughter wanted a takeaway, and she's going through all these takeaway menus, and I'd already had chicken and chips in a daytime, because I was craving it. I didn't have breakfast, but about 11:30 I craved chicken and chips. So I went and got it, and in the evening my daughter's coming up with all these choices, and I'm like, I'm not feeling them. And then all of a sudden she went, "Mum, what about pizza?" And I was like, I'm feeling that. Like, I now know what my body wants, and I had the pizza.
I feel like I don't want to waste my like eating on something that I don't really fancy.
Yeah.
So I want to think first and make it beneficial.
My daughter was looking up to me, Mum, you made me look for something for the last half an hour. All along you knew it was pizza. I said, I actually didn't know. I literally needed to think of the pizza, think about how it made me feel. And then I was like, yeah, that's the one.
But at the same time, it doesn't matter if it's not what you fancied at that moment and it just fills a hole and you get on with your day, because you will eat again.
You will eat again.
There will be another moment where you get to have something you really fancy.
Exactly.
So it could be that you crave that chicken and chips for a week and then you're like, oh, today's the day I'm going to have it.
Exactly. But now I'm like, when I crave something, I go get it straight away. And I never knew my hunger signals or my cravings when I was in that dieting mentality. I had no idea what I liked.
So now you're more in tune with your body. Do you feel that now, like, did it come together, being in tune with your body with food as being in tune with your body with exercise and movement?
Yeah, it came together, but it came from a place of love, as I said. Like, I had to stop everything that I was doing before. One thing that stopped first was the exercise, because I was too tired to exercise. So I really could not do that, no matter what I tried. And now, for example, if I coach a client, I coach them on their mind, but I also do coach them on nutrition. But I don't make them diet. I don't tell them to diet. I ask them, because obviously it's quite complex. The body's quite complex. When you go through stress, your organs shut down.
Yeah, well, we can talk more about that afterwards, because we have the news coming up. So just briefly.
Okay, I'll prepare myself for what I'm about to say. And it's no diets whatsoever. I don't believe in none of that.
So when we come back, we'll be talking about anti-diet, how to be able to be in tune with your body. And this, I want to dive a little bit more into the journey of self-love, like becoming aware of it, that's actually a thing that somebody might need to be able to heal stuff and overcome low self-esteem, lack of self-worth. And where do these things come from? So we have the news coming up now. This is 91.8 Hayes FM. This is the Waishee Radio. Stay with us.
91.8 Hayes FM.
Welcome to Waishee Radio on 91.8 Hayes FM, your local radio and worldwide podcast that's interactive through Facebook Lives and special guests. Join Nicola Chan each week as she helps you with your body image, mindset, fitness and health to feel confident and find your true potential.
Welcome back to 91.8 Hayes FM, the Waishee Radio Show. I'm Nicola Chan, and in the hot seat is Neusa Catoja.
Hello.
Woo! We were literally just comparing pictures. The picture of the front cover of her book looks like a picture that I have on Instagram. And this was also a post about self-love. It says, take up space, eat what you want, dress how you like, be brave enough to speak your mind.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I was trying to find a full picture to show you.
So, give us some steps that we can take to transform our own minds, and anybody who's listening. Amazing. She's just showing you the picture in the book there with her partner in the background. How we can change our own mindset to self-love.
How we
and
can
get
change
over
our
low
own
self-esteem.
mindset to self-love. Listen to the voices in your head. The ones that aren't so nice. What are they saying? What do you keep on consistently repeating to yourself? That you will never tell your daughter, you will never tell your best friend, you will never tell your mum. Those are the things that you need to be listening to and changing. That's the first key. What you're saying to yourself is very, very important. So change the internal dialogue that says, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure. I am is the most important word you will ever use. And what follows on affirms what you are. So
Would you say, for example, then you had one, I am a failure. Would you change that to I am a success? Would you do like the flip side of each of these negative?
It might be too much for someone to say I'm a success, because they're like, what is there to be successful about? So you could use something that is close to it. Just say, I am willing to accept that I have failed in certain things. However, I can do better.
Yeah, I like that.
Prolong it. I am willing to accept.
And also reframe failure, because
Right.
failure is
It's a lesson learned.
yeah, exactly.
You're
If you
learning
use all of
lessons.
those failures as
Yeah.
lessons,
You have
then it's
to
part of
fail.
the journey.
Yeah, you have to fail. Oprah Winfrey says,
Fail forward.
yeah. Oprah Winfrey says that failure, a queen isn't afraid to fail. Fail is another stepping stone to greatness.
If you're afraid to fail, you don't do the thing, and you just stay where you are,
Yeah,
comfortable
yeah,
on the sofa.
I have failed many times. But what is failure? What are you comparing it to? That's the question. So you have to change your internal dialogue. What are you saying to yourself that's not so good? And change that. So in a book, I tell them to, whenever you're doing the exercise, one side, put all the negatives that you're saying throughout the day. And do that just before bed. On the other side, put all the things that you do want to hear. So if you can't say, I am successful, say, I am willing to accept that I failed. And now I'm going to try, I'm going to do better, because trying is not the right word to say. I always pick my clients up for that. I'm like, trying means you're not actually doing it. Just say, I'm willing to
because you haven't committed to be a success.
Yeah.
You've just committed to try.
Yeah, committing to try and try and sit on a chair. Do you sit on it or don't you? You do it or you don't. You don't try to do it. So whenever somebody says trying, I'm like, no, you're doing it. You're not trying. Like if they say, oh, I'm trying this business thing. No, you're not. You're doing it. If you're not doing it, then if you're not actually doing it, then you're not doing it, if that makes sense. There's no such thing as trying. So you have to change the internal dialogue first. That's the first thing. Change your language. Words are powerful. And use the I am affirmations. Pin them everywhere. My affirmations next to my bed is, I am a creator of my life. I am amazing. I am a queen. And I address every woman that I speak to as a queen. Because we are meant to be, we are up on a throne. They say that the man is the head of the household. That's crap. We are, seriously, because a house doesn't run without us, right? We're in control of everything that happens in our household. So for me, it's like, you have to say those words that may not feel right now, but subconsciously your mind is listening. And slowly, as you say the words, the action starts to follow on. It becomes a ripple effect. So when I used to say, I feel amazing today. Today is going to be a good day. Automatically, I wanted to do the things that made me feel like it was going to be a good day. And the more I did it, and it was like, all of a sudden, I'd wake up in the morning. I'm like, I'm not having negative thoughts anymore. I'm not saying the horrible things. I still couldn't sleep. I still was exhausted. I still felt, disgusting. But I was starting to feel like good. I started to feel good by what I was saying to myself. And the more I said that, the next step was like, okay, I'm saying the right things of myself now. I've got to accept where I am to then make the changes. And then the next thing was, one problem that we always have is we're stuck in the past. We want to go back to how we used to look. My problem was I couldn't look at pictures of myself looking amazing with muscles. I had to hide them all because they were a trigger. Because I wanted to go back to that same old person.
And the clearing out the clothes.
Right.
Have you done that one?
I've done that.
Well, you have to get rid of the emotional attachment to all of the clothes, the person you used to be.
Yeah, I got rid of all of that. I did. And all these steps I learned. But when I started to feel good, I started to automatically do them rather than doing them because I have to. Because if you do something because you have to, it will be temporary. Just like a diet. If you diet because you have to, because you've got a holiday coming up, because you've got a wedding coming up, sooner or later, as soon as that wedding's come, as soon as those holidays come, you're free. Woo! I've stopped everything. But if you start doing things because you really feel good and you want to, then it's natural. So letting go of the past. You can't go back.
Oh, so you mean because you actually love yourself? As in, like, if you start doing all of these behaviours to change your mindset because you love yourself, not just to change the negative, to stop feeling bad.
Right. Yeah, because when you start to love yourself, you automatically want to take better care of yourself, right? You want to eat better. And you want to also be able to enjoy the foods that you're eating. You want to care for your cravings. You want to have your bubble baths. You want to have your wine. I'm about to describe what I do. But you start to do the things that really make you feel
Friday
good.
night with Neusa.
Yeah, you start to date yourself. Like I'll say to my partner, if he's calling me when I'm in a bath with a glass of wine and my slow jams and he's interrupting my music, I'm like, babe,
I like a slow jam.
I'm romancing myself right now and there's no space for you.
I actually really enjoyed, we did a job just a couple of days ago, well, a couple of nights, night work, and we were out in the van, and there was 3 of us, my partner and his best friend. Really good team. But I actually really enjoyed the fact that we weren't, I mean, we have really good fun when it's 3 of us in the van having van banter. Probably not good for radio. But I really enjoyed having my own van.
Yeah.
So each of us had our own van and I just put on my music. I was singing away. I was dancing. The van's amazing. You can reach to the ceiling with your arms and do a proper dance in there.
I haven't driven in a while, and my partner asked me to go and take his replacement car that he
I
had.
hope the rental company aren't listening.
Gosh, we're driving with our arms up in the air instead of driving.
With one hand on the wheel.
So I was driving, I put my music out loud, and then my partner calls me. He's like, "Are you following me?" And I'm like, "I'm right behind you." And he's like, "Yeah, but you need to carry." "I'm fine. Can you just go? Why are you rushing me off the phone?" I'm like, "You're there and I'm here. We can talk in a minute. I just want to listen to my music because I haven't driven. I had my own music for a long time. Let me just enjoy my 10 minutes." Because it's like me. I like my own company now.
I think music is good for that, for you to be like to express your emotions through the music.
Yeah, and it's in a book as well. Like I share what worked for me, so that you can pick a few things. Because sometimes we're like, okay, do a self-care routine, a self-care ritual, and people will be like, "What's that?" So I give you loads of examples that you can pick from the book and say, okay. So for me, yoga helped, music helped, moving my body in a gentle way helped, dancing around like a mad woman helped. All those little things I share in there. So none of those things cost money. None of those things are going to make you feel bad. They're going to make you feel really, really good. And the more and more of it, that you do, it's a reminder that your body's still alive, that you can still move. So we have to realize that the past is gone. That's what causes depression, is the fact that people are thinking about the past so much. They want to go back. They regret certain things. You can't go back. I can't go back 10 minutes ago. I can't go back a minute ago. It's already gone. Accept it and move forward. Now that you're here and you've let go, what are the things that you are blaming yourself for? So in the book for me was, I needed to forgive my body. I needed to forgive my body for what I put it through. So whatever it is that you're blaming yourself, and this is blame, it's not holding yourself accountable, it's actually blaming yourself or blaming someone else. Writing a letter of forgiveness towards yourself is first, before you even start to write a forgiveness letter to them, and you don't even have to send it. You're just basically subconsciously forgiving that person and sending that person love. Because when you forgive, then you're like, okay, now I can
Forgiveness
start to
is a big one,
trust
isn't
myself. Yeah. When I forgave myself, I was then able to trust my body, to trust myself. So I had to trust. And when you're trusting, that's when you're embracing and you're going into the steps of self-love. So there's 5 steps I share in there. The first one is acceptance. The second one is letting go. The third one is forgiveness. The fourth one is embracing yourself, your body. And the last one is self-love. Because once you've been able to do all of those things, you can then, in whatever area of your life, you can repeat those same steps. And I'll give you an example. Every month I'm like, okay, I need to do a detox. Not because to lose weight, it's more a detox because there's certain foods that my body doesn't like dairy or red meat, because I get bloated. But I still eat them because I don't restrict. But every month I say to myself, right, let me take away these things. And I start taking them away, and then the old me starts to come back. The old me as in, oh no, I really want to eat this. Somebody else is eating this, but I can't eat that because I'm on a detox. As soon as that voice comes to me, I rebel against it. And I'm like, no, I'm going to eat the lamb. And my partner would be like, but you're not supposed to be eating the lamb. I'm like, don't tell me what to do. And he's like, but you said it. I'm like, but I'm not going to be restricted to it. I will do it in a gentle way. In other words, I can reduce a little bit of it. I'm already reducing it. But if I have a craving for it, no matter what kind of detox or whatever it is that I'm on, I will still eat it. So when I coach my clients through nutrition, because as I said, the body is an amazing thing, and when it's stressed, there's certain things it can't digest. So I take them through a little bit of a detox, but I still say to them, there's no restrictions in there. I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm going to share with you a few recipes that will help, but we're going to do it when your mind is in the right place.
This is the struggle, I think, going from, like you said, your old you, and we keep pointing to the side just for the people who are just listening, they can't see us, like as in that's the past, because it's very habitual, isn't it, to think a certain way. So you had something in the now which almost triggers that old behaviour, so then it comes up and it's like, this is diet mentality, I can't have something, therefore I want it, and all of that stuff. So I've forgotten where I was going with this now.
Yeah, the old part of us will always come back when we try and do something.
That was it. I was saying the struggle is then to be able to do anything that might be a healthy behaviour and take it on as in balance. Not, I'm now going on another diet. I'm not going back to those old ways. You know, so I think if there's anybody out there listening who's been through that, who's had maybe an eating disorder, body image issues, any of these things that we've described already in the show, if you do now want to start being healthier, and maybe you've gone through that period of all food is acceptable. I think we all do that, where you need to start just eating everything to be like, actually, there is no moral, like, feeling in this food. I'm not a bad person if I eat this. I shouldn't feel guilty. And just to kind of get over that, you have to kind of do that bit of food training. But to then be like, well, now I want to eat more nourishing foods, and maybe they don't have any knowledge on how to do that, I would definitely recommend getting a coach like yourself, or like Chris Sandel is another one that I know from this kind of world, as in Health at Every Size, who helps you with body image, and is a trained nutritionist. So they've got that background, and they're not just going to put you on a diet, because that might set you back to that old mentality and trigger you to that. I think it's very important that if you have got that background, that you share that and be careful about finding the right coach for you.
And also that coach will have to be able to identify whether mentally you are ready to do something like that. Because if you're mentally not ready to do something like that, the old person, the old you, or the old beliefs and the old restrictions and the yo-yo diet will come back. So it has to be someone that has experience in doing something like that. So for me, when in October I decided that, you know what, I'm going to start changing my dilemma, what I'm saying to myself, it was Christmas time, and I did that. I said, you know what, now I can eat whatever I want. I started eating whatever I wanted, and then in January I was no longer, still had a few thoughts, because I remember in February going to my friend's 40th birthday, I was still worried about what to eat. Even though I was feeling better about myself, I was still worried. And then came March, I was like, you know what, now I really want to take care of my body. I feel good, and I really want to take care of my body. And all the while, I still not sleeping, but I was feeling better with very little sleep, still feeling exhausted. And when I went on to, and I don't call it a detox, I just took away red meat and dairy, that's it, and gluten. Everything else I kept. But I started to learn how to cook foods and nutritious foods. I went to a couple of free classes. I started to experiment in the kitchen, because when I had an eating disorder, I hated being in the kitchen. I couldn't even cook anymore. It was cooking with hate.
I actually enjoyed cooking when I had an eating disorder.
I didn't, because
I became very creative in what to make, and I actually thought everything tasted amazing, which it really didn't.
No, my
but
daughter
when you
said to
don't
me-
have many flavours in your life,
my daughter finally, after when I was eating normal foods, my daughter was like, Mum, now can I tell you the truth?
thank
Your
God.
foods are disgusting.
I made my daughter a coconut flour cake once, which was horrendous, and then I had to go and get her a real cake.
Yeah, do you get what I mean? I
I'm
used to
sorry
do
about
all of
that.
I used to do all of that. So, you know, when I went through the you know, I now said to myself, I'm allowed to eat whatever I want. But now, me is going to eat better. It was me telling myself, not somebody giving me a diet and saying you've got to follow this rule. It was me, and I was able to sustain this for 8 months. Like, I eat a lot of fish, I had chickpeas, I had loads of things. It became easy. As before I used to think, eating healthy is hard, it's expensive. It became so easy for me to do it that I kept it up for 8 months. However, I started it in March. I only started to sleep 4 hours in April, because I kept that, remember that jar that you've got? With the
Positive jar, yeah.
When I read back to it at the end of the year, it said in April, I started to sleep 4 hours. So from time I said yes to myself in October, I let go of all the restrictions. I stopped playing restrictions on myself. I started doing more things that were fun. I started doing me. The actual problem that I thought was what I wanted to fix first, the sleep, was the last thing that healed itself, was the last thing to come back. Why? Because I wasn't constantly thinking about fixing me.
Well, that's the worst thing about sleep, though, isn't it? If you try to sleep, don't you?
I
And
was
by the time you're
trying
trying
to
to sleep, you
Yeah.
can't sleep because you're consciously thinking about
I even used
how
to
much
do that.
sleep you're not getting.
I used to do that positive affirmations, you know, put him in the earphones. Today you're going to sleep. I am going to sleep. It wasn't working.
Everything's about sleep.
It wasn't working, because I made it about that. I thought that was the issue. When reading through the issue was my body. Was body dysmorphia. I had no idea that I had that until I was like, when I started.
Well, there you go. This is how amazing your body is, that it shows you, it gives you something that this is your red flag. Something is going wrong with me right now. It could be that you're covered in eczema, you know, or your thing was sleep. It's something that you can't then get on with the rest of your life, and that you have to stop now and look at it.
Yeah.
How amazing are our bodies?
Our bodies are so amazing. Like, it can just, and I write some amazing poems in there that talk about how amazing my body is, especially as women who've had children. Look how our bodies can just bounce back. You know, it's so amazing. If you decide that you want to change your body and change it a certain way, you can change your body. That's amazing. And the thing about my body is, and our bodies, is that it will always protect us. Even when we're at times of stress, it shuts down our organs so that we can be protected.
But just on that note, and our body is smarter than us.
Oh, yeah.
And as we mentioned before, it will always come back to your set point, which may be different from someone else's.
Yeah.
So everybody is different. And we will come back to more of that because we have a break coming up, and it's the last one before the end of the show. So we can come back to talk more about self-love. We'll check out the Facebook, see if there's any comments on there, and we can answer those questions. Stay tuned. Hayes FM 91.8, the Waishee Radio Show.
91.8 Hayes FM.
Welcome to Waishee Radio on 91.8 Hayes FM, your local radio and worldwide podcast that's interactive through Facebook Lives and special guests. Join Nicola Chan each week as she helps you with your body image, mindset, fitness and health to feel confident and find your true potential.
Hello and welcome back to the last 20 minutes of the Waishee Radio Show. I'm Nicola Chan, and in the hot seat is Neusa Catoja.
Hey.
So with all of this self-love journey that we were talking about this afternoon, what happens when you try to change yourself? And I know this from my own personal journey where I got into personal development. I dramatically changed my life and a lot of the people in it. And, you know, with big change comes sometimes some negativity as well. Sometimes a lot of people know the old you, that it kind of rocks the boat, that you get resistance to allowing you to change and become the new you. What's been your experience with that and your clients?
My experience in terms of people that have been in my life for a very, very long time at this. There's been people in my life that are suffering with depression, and I have suffered for years. There's people in my life that are actually on medication. So when I realized I healed myself without the medication, I wanted to spread this remedy to everyone. I wanted to show how it's not easy, it's uncomfortable, but I wanted to show them that there is a solution outside of a pill. And I'm not going to advise anyone who's on a pill to stop. You don't do that. You've got to seek
And always
your
seek
medical
your
advice.
doctor.
Always seek doctor's advice, because once you're on it, it is a slow process and a process to come off. And you can still be on medication and still use the principles of this book. And I wanted to share my message to my loved ones. I wanted them to see that it's possible, because now I've got the remedy. I want to share it with the world. So it wasn't always about me charging you. A lot of my information that I give out and I put on social media is free, apart from when I coach a client for 12 weeks, then obviously we have an agreement. I found that a few friends, especially people in that were depressed, almost like whenever there was an invite, they wouldn't accept my invite. They wouldn't come to, because I do I Love Myself First retreats, and I invite women to come along. Even if I gave them a ticket for free, they're still not coming. They were coming up with excuses. So I was like, okay, I'm trying to help this person, but I would never be with them and guide them. Like, I don't coach people unless they've accepted being coached. I just listen to people. You know, somebody's got low self-esteem and they're insecure, and they're telling me all these insecurities about themselves. I won't advise them in terms of what they should do, because not everybody, we shouldn't be telling people what to do. As a coach, I don't. I would just be like, okay, so what have you tried to do? And they're telling me, but it's almost like next to me, they're giving me excuses for the things that they should be doing, but they're not doing it because they think that that's what they should be telling me. For some reason, they start to behave differently towards me. So for me, I find that people are afraid of the truth, and I give them the truth. When you're around me, I give you the truth. If you ask me,
I find that as a coach as well.
Yeah.
That can then sometimes put people off.
Right.
Because they might come in with the initial problem. That's why they've come to see you. So you have the initial conversation. And then they're like, actually, this is going to be a lot of hard work.
Right. And then they'll come back.
And they're maybe not ready to do that yet.
Right.
Maybe not ready to see what's really going on.
Right. So that's why I do a lot of things for free. This book, for example, it's got all the things that I'm going to cover with you. But obviously, if I'm working with you on a one-to-one, it's deeper work, because I'm talking to you. My sessions are like 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, because I love to talk. And because we make it about you, plus when we're doing a session, I really want to make you feel good by the end of that session, because every week we could be resolving a different issue. So you know, in this book, everything's in there. And I do free challenges on Facebook, for example. I give you all the tools, and I find some women will do it and some women won't, and some of them will do it and be like, oh my God, that was really good. And they could do it at home by themselves. So I'm already giving you a solution, because I did those things myself. Yes, I've become a qualified life coach. Yes, I've become a qualified NLP practitioner. But I did that afterwards, after I healed myself. I thought to myself, now I've got the remedy, I want to have the credentials, I want to have the qualifications, so that, you know, it's all there.
On that note, can I just ask you though, what did you then look at during NLP? What light bulb moments or penny drops did you have in your own coaching practice? Because obviously, as when you're learning to become a coach, you get coached by all the other people.
What do you mean in terms of what?
Because you'd already been on the self-love journey, so
Yeah.
you'd arrived at a certain place within accepting yourself, and then you embarked on an NLP journey just to get the credentials. But during that, did you have any, oh my goodness, I've got this to deal with as well?
See, this is what happened. When I was in a really bad place, I did the NLP course, all right? But when I did the NLP course, I thought that was going to heal me. But when I went there, my mind was all over the place. I was more worried about the fact that nothing was working, right? So nothing was working. I did the course. I came out of the course. I struggled through the whole course, and I still suffered for another 1.5 years. But then when I started to get better, and I didn't use any NLP on myself, because again, nothing came in. My mind was so bombarded that no information was going in. So then when I then started to feel better, I then went back to my coach, and I asked her, can I do it again? And she said, Neusa, this time you have to do that and this and that. So the life coach was together as a package now. You couldn't do them separately. So we worked out a financial agreement, and I came back, we did the NLP, and straight away we did the life coach. And when
So you literally are one of your own clients then?
Huh?
You came in
Yeah.
and felt like nothing worked because you weren't ready to let go at the time?
Yeah, and then when I did it this time, it was like a light bulb moment just hit me. I was like, oh my God, this is working. And then when the life coaching came into it, it was like, oh my God. I felt like on top of the world next to all those new students. I felt like I was ready to walk out after the second day, because this was so good. But I managed to finish the course, and now I was like, now I know the structure of how to coach a client. It's not just by what I've learned. It's not just by experience. Now I have the experience, I've healed myself, and now I've got the structure to help you to heal, so to guide you to heal. So that's how I wasn't ready, even though the information was all there. I needed to be ready within myself and have that experience to be able to, you know, to guide other people.
So it's like it happened for a reason, that you went back in the second time and then got that other section of the course together.
Yeah.
So now, and I talk about this with body image, and I've done previously on the shows where you arrive, you feel like you love your body, like I'm okay now, but then there are always times when you can still feel bad. Do you have moments, and can you talk to us about them, where you still feel like, I don't love myself today?
There are times when it's not so much I don't love myself. There's times of fear, and sometimes I'll wake up and I've had a really bad dream that I've gone back, and the dreams are like, I'm in that moment, I'm stuck, and this feeling of feeling loved is disappeared. It was only temporary. They're really vivid, and I wake up in a lot of sadness and sometimes even tears, because the dream was so real that I thought I've dreamt this whole thing, or that the feeling is gone. And in those moments when I feel like that, it's normally a warning to give myself more self-love. It means I'm giving out to too many people, because I'm a giver, and I'm not giving it to myself. It's almost like my dreams are telling me, go back and give yourself self-love. Or my dreams are telling me, go back and read a book. And a lot of the times when I'm feeling
you being
really
here
down,
today is telling me,
go back, yeah, exactly.
go back, do the self-love work again.
You know, when I read my poems and I could be in a really bad place, my poems bring me out, and it reminds me that I got out of it. I got out of it myself with a lot of guidance from people. Don't get me wrong, this journey isn't by yourself. I had a lot of support, but I had to do the work. I was the one that had to do the work. So I was like, I've done the work before, and I was in a really bad place. There's no way I'm going to fall like that again, because I've got this now. I've got the remedy.
And talking of this, can you please share with us one of your poems?
Right. So I'm going to share a poem which is related to also people in your life that you want to give them the the truth. You want to tell them the truth, and they're not ready for you, but they want to attack you for the fact that you are kind of reflecting what they lack.
Ooh,
Yeah.
deep.
So it's very deep. So let me see if I find it. Right, here we go. So it's called, oh, here it is. It's called Own Your Inner Diva. Tiredness brings back darkness in light, brings sadness in happiness, keeping me frozen in a web of lies and imperfection. Why is the world full of condemnation, born from suppression, causing depression? Why do others' perception of you become the isolation, causing anger, bitterness, hate, and even confusion? We're born from love, yet we learn to hate. We're born for greatness, yet we play small. Because we fear the unknown, destroy those who uplift us, those who are rising yet suffering. So you want to make them feel guilty for growing, developing, elevating and encouraging you. Look within what you lack, failing to see that the mirror of you has your back. They see your worth, your true potential. They go harder on you because they know behind the pain lies a true diamond, who is made of love and passion. Their words will hurt to bring out the pain, guiding you to dance in the rain, unleashing the godness that you're afraid to see. Stop running, stop the pretense, stop acting like you got it all. Be true to who you are. The bigger the rise, the harder the fall. Own up to your inner diva. It's time to look in the mirror, naked and strong. Get back your strength. Take one step forward into the place that you belong.
That's lovely.
So it's really about be yourself. Be your true self regardless of what people say. And we still have fears. Fears, and I've got a poem that says, I've made fear become my best friend. I'm no longer afraid because what I was afraid of was what stopped me from moving forward, what stopped me from being a great person that I am today and a great person I'm going to continue being. So now it's like fear is telling me, go towards it. You never know what's going to happen because fear doesn't exist. We create it in our mind. So whatever you're scared to do, do it.
And as I said to you on the way in here actually as well, isn't it, that the bigger the thing you're putting yourself out there for, the more self-doubt comes in to stop you.
Right.
Don't do that. You're endangering yourself.
Yeah. I mean, what happened to you and what happened to me with the body dysmorphia, that was a warning to stop us. Not a warning. It was actually a warning to stop us because now I realize that I'm glad I didn't compete because I probably would have struggled a lot more by seeing all those changes and going deeper into the fitness industry and the bodybuilding industry.
I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Because in a way for me, I had to break down to break through. I had to reach that rock bottom, even though it felt like a high.
Yeah. You see the two different things. It's like, we're glad it happened. Even though it brought us into a really dark place, we're so glad it happened and it had to happen. And now the way I see it is, if I can come out of this, which I have, there's nothing that I can't come out of. There's nothing that will stop. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. There's nothing that will stop me because I know I can't break down the way that I broke down before. It's...
And that's your strength.
That's my strength. You know, I used to think vulnerability was a weakness, but my vulnerability is my biggest strength. Because I'm feminine. I still have to carry on, you know. I still have to be weak. I still have to let the man pick up the bags and all that, you know. So, yeah. It is. Vulnerability is sexy. Vulnerability is our strength. You know, when you can be vulnerable about what you've been through and the road that you've been in and still get back up. And us as mothers, and I know I mention a lot, but us as women, we always get back up. We always. But we're told from a young age from our mums, get it together. Pick yourself up, put on your makeup and get on with it. Because that's what they were taught. They're only passing on what they know to us. But we now have to realize that it's okay not to be okay. That we don't have to put on a makeup every day. We don't have to put this makeup. And I'm not talking external makeup, but this, yeah, I'm alright. No. If somebody says you're not alright, I'm not alright today. Actually, today I'm crying all day, you know. Somebody phones me and says, how are you feeling today? I said, I've been crying all day. It's normal to cry. It's a healer, isn't it?
Exactly. That's the thing, where if you actually feel your emotions, label them, work through them, let them go through you almost.
Yeah.
And not hold on to them or suppress them or put something else in its place.
Yeah, when you can feel your emotions, you're allowing them place to be. And then they've been. Me and my daughter say to each other all the time, like, I cried today. She's like, yeah, so did I. When we look at each other, we laugh. So it's like, yeah, we've released. Or when I'm having a bit of an argument with her, before, if she would cry, I would hug her. Now if she cries, I let her continue. I continue to stir emotions to make her cry. And then the truth of what she's holding comes out. Then she tells me, we both cried together. And then she feels better. And I'm like, I pushed you.
Out.
Yeah, hug it out. I pushed you because I wanted that to come out of you. So what I do with my clients is I push them to make that emotion come out. Because once that emotion come out, it's almost like they're taking something they're oppressing, and when they express that emotion, it's like they feel lighter. And I'm like, okay, what can I do now? I feel good. I've cried. I'm ready to get myself up and go and put on my makeup and feel good. So it's emotions. I used to think they didn't matter, but they really do.
So we're coming towards the end of the show. So let everyone know where they can follow you, where they can get hold of this book. Are you doing any more book launches?
Right. Okay. So today I got some really amazing news. So maybe I shouldn't be sharing it yet, but you know me. Right. So you can get the book on Amazon, Soul of a Woman, A Journey to Self-Love. It's available to buy paperback, £11.11, Kindle £9.99, or if you want a personal signed copy, let me know. Send me a message. Neusa Catoja on Facebook. Free to Embrace Me on Instagram, and I also have another Instagram called I Am Neusa Catoja, which I mainly put a lot of things about speaking engagements, the book on there.
Neusa spell
Neusa
Catoja.
And then I've just been asked, because I'm Portuguese as well, I speak Portuguese, and my next thing is I'm gonna translate this book in Portuguese, and it's gonna be
for an audio.
I'm gonna try and do in a book form. Maybe an audio. Now giving me another thing to do. God,
I've just thought I'd really love to do somebody's book in an audio. I love audiobooks.
Yeah. I'd like to do an audiobook, but I'm going to translate this in Portuguese. And I've actually been invited as an author to go to Brazil in May this year. They've got this big conference of all these different Afro-Portuguese authors. They bring them together, and then they give them an hour to do a seminar based on their theme. And guess what my theme is going to be? Self-love. I love myself first. And they've got a big audience of women in Brazil that have gone through domestic violence, they've gone through rape, they're trying to change their body externally, and there's a lot of low self-esteem. So now they want to bring me in to do that 1 hour conference and to also sell my book. So now I've got to find someone ASAP to translate the book, but it's probably going to be half the size, because I've actually made a massive book for my first book. So this is 196 pages. I've got to try and get one in Portuguese under 100 pages.
We have 60 seconds left. Go.
Right.
Where's your website?
I don't have a website yet, but I will do soon. But yes, you can find me on Free to Embrace Me on Instagram, and I am Neusa Catoja on Instagram as well, and Neusa Catoja on Facebook. And then I'll post the link under the show.
And your group as well, which is on Facebook.
And my group is on Facebook, which is called Free to Embrace Me, how to stop the dieting mentality, or how to stop body perfection, or something like that along those lines. But yeah, no more body perfection. We don't do that, and we don't do diets.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, it's been lovely.
In the hot seat, in the new studio.
And I got a gift for you.
Oh, thank you.
The last one from the launch. I kept it for you, and I'll sign
Amazing.
it. Now you can read it.
Thank you. I'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
All types of music for all types of people.
The sound of Great West London.
91.8 Hayes FM.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
91.8 Hayes FM.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Hayes FM.
Local radio for your area. All types of music for all types of people.
The sound of Great West London.
91.8 Hayes FM.